You're just trying to always build around what somebody does well. What is the DNA, the nucleus of what they do? Yeah. And everybody who gets to the tour is great at something because they're the top 1% of the 1% of golfers around the world. So I think people sometimes forget that, oh, that won't work. Well, if you'd gone back 15 years, people would look at Scotty Scheffler and probably go, that's not going to work.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Yeah, and with the Clippers, Craig, it feels like Kawhi is on an island. We saw him ball out in the All-Star game the other day. Kawhi was very impressive, and he's had a fantastic season. I think when you look at the Clippers, if the Clippers' record was better, but he's still James Harden, you would be talking about Kawhi as an MVP candidate. He's been one of the best players in the league in terms of how he's been playing. He's been fantastic.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
I have my own account. I don't need to have any. He didn't say any of that. So I'm of the belief that if someone accuses you of something and you don't deny it, there's a reason you didn't deny it. Because you kind of feel like they got me. And yes, I'm not going to tell you I did it, but I did it.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
It is a Wednesday hump day right here on the early line. It's the SportsGrid Network. I'm Donnie Rightside, and he's Joe Ranier. The next 2 hours are ours. We're going to cover all the hottest topics you need to know, so when you go around the water cooler, you can explain yourself to the people and say, you know what? I know exactly what's going on here. So many things to get into, including Hellebuck, Medal of Freedom last night, saving everybody, including Americans, with the gold medal. So much to talk about in the NBA last night, transitioning to college basketball right around 3 weeks till Selection Sunday, and so much more. Our job is to get you through Wednesday, to look forward to Thursday and Friday and in to your weekend action. And we got 2 hours to do it. And Joe, we will do that.
We got a lot going on here, Donnie, as we wind down college basketball. And it's we get hockey back, too, I believe, the NHL with a big slate. Can't wait to see how defensive-minded after, 2.5 weeks off that we're going to get with the NHL tonight.
And we'll fit something in a little bit later that I saw late night come across my timeline. I'm going to make sure I remind myself to get it out to the people. But now, Joe, it's time to get caffeinated. The hottest topic of the day delivered to you fresh and ready.
Well, Donnie, let's not forget, in addition to all those other sports, Major League Baseball and spring training are here. Yeah. And the good news is Major League Baseball has finally joined the 21st century, and the results have been absolutely amazing. Unless, of course, you're an umpire. Now, we finally got our first real look at that new ABS challenge system in the Red Sox and Pirates spring training game this week, Donnie. And let me tell you, Pandora's box has just been opened. Now, the system is simple. Teams get challenges. If they think the ump missed the ball or a strike, they tap their head. We go to the robot, and within 10 seconds, we know the truth. And boy, oh boy, did we learn the truth about one home plate umpire named Mitch Tresiak. Poor Mitch. Had a rough day this week at the office there, Donnie, because in the first inning alone, within the first 6 outs of the game, 3 of his calls were overturned. 3. Wilson Contreras challenged a strike. The system showed, it was a ball by a good 2.5 inches, Donnie. That's not a frame job. That's a blatant miss. And here is the best part. It was fast. I mean, we're talking seconds. It didn't drag the game down. It wasn't like the NFL where we stare at a referee under a hood for 5 minutes while we're trying to figure out what a catch is. This was efficient. It was clean, and it is ruthless. And I've always said, ego aside, tradition be damned. It's always about getting the call right, but it's also going to do something else. It's going to expose umpires who simply aren't good enough at their job, Donnie, to actually be behind home plate. And we used to just assume a guy was having a bad game. Now we have the data on the screen in real time. And Mitch Trzeziak had his first 5 challenges go against him before he finally got one right in the 4th inning. The announcers were literally laughing because the robot was hitting 1,000 against the human. So get ready, baseball fans. This season, we aren't just going to know the player stats. We are going to know exactly which umpires need to schedule an appointment with their optometrist, because the robots are here, Donnie. And frankly, they've got a better eye than anybody behind the plate right now in Major League Baseball.
I love it, Joe. And we saw it yesterday, the highlights of a ball going middle down the plate, and they call it a ball, and they quickly overturn it at this point. And like, if we can just put this into layman's terms, the umpires union isn't going anywhere. Major League Baseball is basically telling them, hey, look, we're going to take all the pressure off your home plate ump. We're going to call perfect balls and perfect strikes. You'll never have an issue, and you won't lose your job. So if you say to a kid today, like, you know what? Mom and Dad, I have a big math test today. And they go, hey, didn't your teacher tell you can actually bring in your actual textbook and also a calculator? You can get 100 on this. Yeah, decided not to. I got a 60. I failed out and I can't get into college. Like, again, they're giving you the cheat code to have a perfect game. And umpires like, we don't like this here. And as Joe pointed out, it's perfect when an ump starts to get embarrassed. And also understand this. You're not going to have these extra challenges, which we're just trying to work through the motions here in spring training. You're only getting 2. So if you use them up by the 3rd inning, and then you have the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9, where umps are blowing calls left and right, players are going to get ejected, umpires are going to be embarrassed, and you're going to have changes to this game. We're getting close, Joe, to what we need, but it's great that you pointed out already. After basically like day 1, it looks horrendous on the umpires. Give them 10, 15, and 20 challenges. Great topic on a Wednesday, Joe, to get us started off here. Here's the early lineup. Charles Bediaco. He's still looking and still getting denied on playing for Alabama here as yet another judge says, you know what? Forget this injunction. This ain't happening anymore.
So nice that actual common sense again is prevailing here. I mean, I don't know how much money they wasted on attorney's fees doing this, but I guess at least you can rest your head at night knowing you did everything possible to try to extend what should never have been extended to begin with, your college career. Can't go to college, go to the pros, and then come back to college because the NIL is a thing now. So kudos to the judge who shot that down.
USA men's hockey showed up last night to the State of the Union address. And how about this? The Medal of Freedom is going to Connor Hellebuck. That man stood on his head for the country. And apparently now he's being recognized as such. A true hero, Joe.
In more ways than one, Donnie. I mean, unbelievable. There are so many stories coming out, not just about the job Team USA did and he did, but my goodness, good luck trying to get a Team USA jersey right now, Donnie.
I mean, hey, Fanatics probably dropping the ball as well. Jack Hughes' jersey's red hot. Probably can't get him for another 3 years at this point. Just the way it is. But the Cleveland Browns, if we had a Kalshi Poly market index right now that you could invest into, Joe, how about this? Watson and Sanders both in the mix for quarterback. Is there actually a chance that Deshaun Watson becomes your starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns? That can't happen, can it?
What choice do they have? They're paying the guy a quarter of $1 billion. Like, what are you going to do? If he can play, you have to play him. You can't just keep paying him, right? At least for another, I believe, year or two. They are still hamstrung by him. So, listen, if he's capable, you have to play him. There's too much money invested in him, Donnie, not to play him. That's the problem.
And by the way, I don't even think they can adjust his contract because it's all guaranteed money. It's not like they're going to take $80 million against the cap and spread it out over 5 more years when he has 1 or 2 years left on that football team. Just a disaster. It's coming to an end sooner than later, but it would be interesting if he was their starting quarterback. I'll tell you, might not be the starting quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals. It's Kyler Murray. Always good in the offseason. You get a new coach in town. Everybody's feeling good. And you go, hey, we haven't heard from our franchise quarterback. Sounds like he's going to be out of town.
Well, I mean, he's getting ready. Madden's dropping soon, right? I mean, he's got to get his Yeah, he's got his Call of Duty. He's got to get his gaming on. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you know, forget about actually trying to better your craft here. So, this was headed for a divorce one way or the other, Donnie, and we all know it.
The ultimate Ponzi scheme. The UFL trying to change some on-the-field optics here with some of their rule changes. Why don't you just go out of business? We don't like the league. It stinks. And also, did I see 4.60-yard field goals? You bring that into the NFL, they might not ever score a touchdown again with everybody settling for a 60-yard field goal due to analytics, Joe.
Well, Donnie, you know this is all a testing ground for the NFL. That's the only reason this league exists, is so the NFL can try a whole bunch of stuff and say, look, it works so well at the UFL, which is why we're bringing it into the NFL.
By the way, it's say no punts inside. They really want to go over the top. Forget the no punts inside the 50. How about no punts at all? Let's really open up the game in the UFL to get people talking about it. How about the UFC? They go, you know what? It's a lot of unrest in Mexico. It doesn't matter. Our fighters are coming to town, and we're going to put on a show, Joe.
Yeah, right. Any sort of distraction possible here. You know, what did they say, right? A game must go on, Donnie. Show must go on. Show must go on here in the UFC.
Show must go on in FIFA as well. They're also looking to be that third partner in hosting the World Cup games here. And FIFA's like, hey, it looks like we are going to play there as well, too, Joe.
Yeah, no, they are absolutely going to play here. Still got some time, obviously, to for everything, you know, cooler heads to prevail here. But yes, nothing has changed as of now.
By the way, I did see some of the pictures coming out, too, where, you know, the Canadian tourists were on the beach there as gang unrest is going on and the city is burning. Like, hey, man, I paid for this beach vacation. I'm getting my beach vacation in. We'll be right back after this to go Spreadlines on a Wednesday. Don't miss it. We'll be right back.
I know that Florida lost at home to Auburn, and it's a real thing that happened. So you can't strike it from the record. But if you did, I think Florida's looked like the best team in college basketball for about 2 months. And I think there are a bunch of results that suggest that.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
One check, one stroke of a pen, $43 million that you now have to spend in free agency. Ain't it fun?
Yeah, you take the money out of the left pocket, you put it in the right pocket, basically, Donnie. But you also free up the ability to be able to sign other players. Nobody did this better than the Patriots and Tom Brady in his career, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
George Rutschman is an interesting one here. I mean, this was somebody that we were told was going to be a superstar. I feel like we've done this now with back-to-back young catchers on Baltimore that they've taken. They've taken Matt Wieters. Remember when they took him super high and everyone thought he was the second coming? Then they took Adley Rutschman. I guess the good news is they have Sam Basallo, who's supposed to be fantastic too, but can't whiff on three like that, can you?
Fantasy sports today, only on SportsGrid.
Spreadlines coming to you on a Wednesday, right on the SportsGrid Network. It's the Early Line. It's Donnie Rightside, and it's Joe Rainier. The SEC, Florida versus Texas, maybe the game of the night tonight. And how about overnight, Joe? We had those 7.5s in the marketplace today, as I see across the board, 6.5. Still is a favorite, though, for the road team, the Florida Gators. The total of this game listed at 157.5 as the live number. Florida coming to town, Joe, in the SEC, has the most efficient defense there is. Effective field goal percentage, also number one in conference play. The best defensive rebound rebounding team in conference play, number 2 in not fouling on defense, and number 1 at defending inside the arc. Tough to score on Florida, but the question is, can Texas cover that 6.5? What is your spread line for that game tonight?
Well, it's an interesting move, right? Because beyond Michigan, Duke, and you got to figure Arizona, right? Florida is that other team, Donnie, that for the most part the public trusts. And they trust them probably more so than anybody else right now because they've been boat racing everybody. Ever since that loss to Auburn at home over a month ago, Florida's just been on a warpath. But here comes Texas, who just got absolutely boat raced by Georgia, of all teams, who got crushed by Florida. But here's the thing with Texas, and I can't explain it, Donnie, but they have been actually better against top 25 teams than anybody else. It's kind of crazy. They have played up to the competition that they've had, and they've actually done pretty well. So do I think Florida is going to lose this game? No. But I can tell you, the numbers tell me that, yeah, I can understand why it's not Florida by double digits here. It's a tricky spot for Florida on the road. Texas has played better against all the teams that are better than them this year, Donnie.
I got to tell you, I'm flipping this over to the Big East right now. St. John's in Connecticut. Do we smell a rat in the building, Joe? The reason I say that, this line opened up at 4.5 as a favorite overnight for Connecticut here. Still at 4.5 at some outlets, but also now rising to 5s and 5.5s as a favorite. And as we already know, UConn did lose to St. John's here, so we are looking for a bounce back. This time you have home court advantage for Connecticut. The number 1 most efficient offense in Big East play, it's Connecticut. The number 1 most effective defense in conference play for efficiency, that's the St. John's defense here. Look at that line, Joe. Explain it to us. What's that spread line?
Well, here it is. This is for all the marbles, folks, this game here tonight, because UConn has to win this game to have a chance at winning the Big East. Because if St. John's wins and sweeps the season series here, it's over. It's basically St. John's is going to be your Big East champion there, and UConn and everybody else who after the first 2 months of the season, Donnie, pretty much anointed UConn the best team in the East and one of the best teams in the country. Well, they didn't take into consideration what the Johnnies have been able to do. And let's face it, they've done a really good job of going toe-to-toe with UConn, and they got it done the first go-around. Are they going to be able to get it done the second go-around? Boy, this is going to be a fun one here tonight, Donnie. But the line is telling you, maybe, just maybe, UConn evens up the series and still has a shot at that Big East regular season title.
If we got a handicap in that game, you're just reading that line. That is a stone-cold UConn line. We'll see if it plays out that way a little bit later tonight. Let's keep it in the Big East, Joe. 7 p.m. here. Butler versus Villanova. With Villanova overnight is that double-digit spread, minus 11.5, Joe. That's come down in the marketplace to minus 9.5 across the board in a total of 146.5. Butler, 11th out of 11 teams in defensive efficiency here. We'll see if Villanova can pick up the pace after losing their last game, looking for a bounce back and expected to win by double digits. The question is, Joe, what's that spread line here for this one?
Yeah, well, Nova's interesting. I mean, Nova's done an amazing job here. Actually been much better than, folks had actually thought they were going to be here this year. Butler has dealt with a slew of injuries all year long. When they're healthy, Donnie, they look like a legit team that can beat anybody on any given night. But the injuries have just piled up, especially at the guard position here. It feels like this is a great spot for Nova to get back on track here. They're kind of a sleeper here. They're a team, Donnie, I think, come Big East tournament time, we're going to need to keep an eye on. I think there's some value with Nova moving forward.
Yeah, as long as they didn't have Kyle Neptune there as their coach there, looking much better this year, heading towards Big East play, which again, week and a half, 2 weeks, Joe, we will be playing at Madison Square Garden for the Big East Championship here. Good times ahead. Let's get over to the association. How about all the champagne bottles that were popping in the Sacramento Kings locker room, lighting the beam after losing 16 straight games, finally beating the Memphis Grizzlies? They're not going to go on the road to take on the Rockets, Joe, and look at that overnight line, minus 14.5. It's actually rising. Some outlets showing this morning, Joe, minus 15.5 as a favorite towards the Rockets, and a total of 223.5. Let the good times roll for the Kings, or we got our victory staved off that ridiculous 17-game losing streak we could have had, and now we're ready to get beat down again tonight. What's that spread line tonight in the association?
Well, Houston has been burning money this year, Donnie, as a double-digit favorite. They had not been good. And then, of course, they were a double-digit favorite on Monday against Utah. And what did they do? Well, they won by double digits and covered the spread there. But now they got a back-to-back opportunity here. Only this line is higher than it was against Utah here. So call me crazy. I still don't trust the Houston Rockets to get up enough to take on the bottom feeders here and cover games. They haven't done it over the last 2 months, Donnie. I think they were 2-8 in their last 10 as a double-digit favorite. Listen, you mentioned it. The Kings actually showed a little bit of a fight there. They still have some veterans on that team. Feels like maybe this might be too big a number for the Rockets, who really just have to win, Donnie, and that's really the end of it at that point.
Exactly. Just win and advance here, getting closer and closer to the playoffs here. Let's go over to the Memphis State Grizzlies. Or Memphis State, how about that? They might as well should be the Memphis State Grizzlies the way they play basketball. Golden State Warriors here. The favorites on the road, Joe, overnight, -2.5. We now sit at 3.5 across the board as a favorite for the Warriors, the road team here, and a total of 229.5 as that number continues to increase here, Joe. Warriors, Grizzlies, what are we looking at from a spread line advantage here?
I mean, this is these two teams, I don't even know why they're playing. They're walking mash units here is basically what they've got going on. Both teams have injuries up and down. Still not going to be any Steph Curry or anything along those lines. Watching that game against New Orleans last night was like watching paint dry here for the Warriors. So it's going to be tough. I mean, Steph hasn't played since January 30th with that knee issue. He's expected to miss his 9th straight game here. You got Porzingis still hurt, Butler out. Who is scoring in this game, Donnie, is what I want to know. I have no idea. It feels like an under to me.
Podziemski, that's who's going to score, Joe. Lean on Podziemski. And by the way, Celtics Nuggets, 10 o'clock start tonight. Maybe the game of the night. Let's look it back over to college basketball next, right here on the early line.
I know that Florida lost at home to Auburn, and it's a real thing that happened. So you can't strike it from the record. But if you did, I think Florida's looked like the best team in college basketball for about 2 months. And I think there are a bunch of results that suggest that.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
One check, one stroke of a pen, $43 million that you now have to spend in free agency. Ain't it fun?
Yeah, you take the money out of the left pocket, you put it in the right pocket, basically, Donnie. But you also free up the ability to be able to sign other players. Nobody did this better than the Patriots and Tom Brady in his career, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
George Rutschman is an interesting one here. I mean, this was somebody that we were told was going to be a superstar. I feel like we've done this now with back-to-back young catchers on Baltimore that they've taken. They've taken Matt Wieters. Remember when they took him super high and everyone thought he was the second coming? Then they took Adley Rutschman. I guess the good news is they have Sam Basallo, who's supposed to be fantastic too, but can't whiff on 3 like that, can you?
Fantasy sports today, only on SportsGrid.
College basketball news and notes always starts with some ridiculousness before we get to the on-court play. And some of that ridiculousness, and I love the way On3 actually, worded this tweet here. It says former pro, which I think is fantastic. Charles Bediaco's request for an injunction pending appeal has been denied by Judge Daniel Pruitt per court documents here. Exactly. Stop trying to game the system. Alabama knew they were in the wrong, but find a judge that'll play ball, exhaust all your options. Oh, well, we're already in the month of April. We'll drop this request because his college eligibility is already up and he's going to move on once again. Good to see some sanity, Joe, out there to say, you know what, Charles Bediaco, go back and turn pro.
Exactly. I mean, A for effort, Donnie, right?
Yeah.
But the reality is, like, you got no business at all playing college basketball now. You played it once, you left, you turned pro, didn't work out, and you came back to get the NIL money, and you've been trying desperately to get the courts to help you out. But, his situation was more unique than some of the other guys. The fact that he was there and then left to turn pro only to come back, that's not going to cut it. Thank goodness for common sense.
By the way, NIL, speaking of that, it is big money in college basketball. Maybe none bigger than how much that payroll is for the University of Kentucky. And Mark Pope is a new coach, feeling a little bit of the squeeze here. The SEC has fined Kentucky's Mark Pope $25,000 for his conduct and comments about the officiating against Auburn. Quote, Mitch, if those MFers try to fine me, they can't. I didn't say a word about how they cheated us here. Stroke that check, 25 G's. Mark Pope can't say that.
Yeah, been a rough season. Good win last night, by the way, for them. If they'd have lost to Carolina, I don't know that he'd ever been allowed back in the state of Kentucky. But kudos to him for, saying what we all thought. The only problem is, Donnie, it's going to cost him. It's not going to cost the rest of us there. Let us speak for you, Mark Pope. We'll let you know when you're robbed. We know it. You don't have to save the money, my friend. We know it.
Save the money, have a GoFundMe, have some NIL, pick up those fines, because everybody in Big Blue Nation was probably feeling the same way. Another Big Blue Nation here, BYU. You're going to get some uneven performances. Hey, they can't win this game. Oh, no, they did. Oh, those should be able to win this game easily. Oh, no, they didn't. 97 points they gave up on their home court yesterday, which included 52 in the first half by UCF as they pull off the 97-84 victory over BYU in Provo.
Yeah, and they were a 12-point favorite, Donnie, at home in Provo against a UCF team who, by the way, I mean, has been terrible against the better teams that they have faced, especially on the road this year. And what happens? They made 14 three-pointers, Donnie. They could play that game 99 more times. UCF is never making 14 three-pointers in that game again. So, unfortunate there for the BYU Cougars.
Three-point line, Joe, always the ultimate equalizer. I'll tell you what else is the ultimate equalizer. Go on the road and take the away crowd out of it immediately. Miami of Ohio versus Eastern Michigan, Joe. First half score, 43-22 Miami, cruising to a 74-64 victory, which I believe out there, Joe, there was some 10.5, some 10s, some 9.5, some 9s, some 8.5s out there. Congratulations when you got this on time. But Miami, 28-0, which includes perfection in the MAC as well at 15-0.
Well, we always say, right? Always get the best of the number. And, as of yet, this opened up 8.5. It was 9.5 yesterday morning when we talked about the game. Got as high as 10.5. And then it was all Eastern Michigan money coming into play yesterday, Donnie, pushing that thing all the way back down to 8.5. They didn't need it. A 43-22 first half was all Miami of Ohio needed to cruise to a 10-point win and remain undefeated.
How about ESPN Insights tweeted out, ESPN Analytics gives Miami, Ohio a 55% chance to finish the regular season undefeated. 3 games left, Joe, 2 on the road. At Western Michigan, home to Toledo, at Ohio on the 6th of March to end the season. How about that?
And we told folks here, Donnie, month and a half ago in the predictive markets, we said, boy, getting Miami of Ohio to be undefeated, running the table at 19 cents felt like a really good bargain at that point. Yeah, well, it's almost 70 cents right now, Donnie.
How about a bargain yesterday in the ACC? Some people thought Duke might slip up a little bit. Going against a bad basketball team after beating a quality Michigan #1 team on the road in the neutral site. They'll sleepwalk through this game. Sleptwalk through this game, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. 100, Joe. Yes, to 56. A beatdown in the ACC.
Well, anybody who thought Notre Dame was going to have has not watched Notre Dame this year. They are awful on so many. Duke is not losing to Notre Dame ever. But kudos to them for putting up 100 points, 54 in the first half alone. Woof.
Yeah, and by the way, Notre Dame is 3-12 in the ACC. Here's what the ACC should do: we're going to kick out your horrible basketball team until your football team actually win a conference. Relegation, as Joe says, and he's correct. We're going to talk relegation next in the NBA. Get ready. You have like, oh, well, we don't know we're going to play an arbitration for our top pitcher in school ball. He gets the $30 million. You go and get Valdez, who's 32 years old, and you pay him 3 years, $115. Now you have a legitimate 1-2 punch and still have Flaherty in that lineup as well. If you're looking at a move singularly that I didn't expect to happen here and loved it, Detroit's move to get Framber Valdez, sensational for me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Expectations were big for this team coming into this season. They've struggled to live up to them. When you think about the 4 losses for Purdue, they've really felt ugly. Iowa State smashed this team in their building. They dropped the game to UCLA and followed it up by losing at home to Illinois.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
I have my own account. I don't need to have any. He didn't say any of that. So I'm of the belief that if someone accuses you of something and you don't deny it, there's a reason you didn't deny it. Because you kind of feel like they got me. And yes, I'm not going to tell you I did it, but I did it.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Yeah, and the Clippers, Craig, it feels like Kawhi is on an island. We saw him ball out in the All-Star game the other day. Kawhi was very impressive, and he's had a fantastic season. I think when you look at the Clippers, if the Clippers' record was better, but he's still James Harden, you would be talking about Kawhi as an MVP candidate. He's been one of the best players in the league in terms of how he's been playing. He's been fantastic.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Topics in the NBA that we get passionate about. And a lot of times in the regular season, it's passionate about just hammering the NBA for all their, shortcomings and insecurities that they have, which they do. And then we ramp it up for the playoffs. Like, man, the greatest athletes in the world playing in the highest level of competition. Why can't we get this all season long? But Joe, as you know me, when I look around the leagues, I've always had a staunch passion for, I don't believe outside of, let's just say, Babe Ruth, Wayne Gretzky, Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, that anybody's jersey should ever be retired. There will never be another one of these players for our franchise. Well, it seems like every day there's millions of people for a franchise. And the team I always like to get on is the New York Yankees. And I say to myself, like, do the Yankees operate as an organization where they don't think baseball is going to be around another 50 years, where they eventually have to go to players that are wearing number 322 on the back of their jersey and say, I always grew up looking at Derek Jeter and I want the number 2, but that was gone. And then 22 was gone. Then 222 is gone. Now 2222 will be my number in the year, 2146. But that's not the issue here. I'm drawing the fire here at the Golden State Warriors. Did they have a great run, Joe? Absolutely they did. They won a lot of championships. And I tell you right now, boy, if they didn't have Kevin Durant on a couple of those championships, maybe they don't win it. Could be a possibility, right? Or if they didn't have Steph Curry on those teams, maybe they'll win a championship. Or even Klay Thompson in his prime, maybe they don't win one of those championships. But I guarantee you this, as you watch this television screen right now, they would have won all 4 of their championships, whether or not they had Andre Iguodala or not. Play the tape here. Let me get to it, Joe. You see this rating? Like, this is not AI, people. Like, this is not AI coming to your screen. Oh, look, Andre Iguodala. What is this? Ha, ha. What is this, NBA 2K? We just get to pick and retire a guy's jersey on career mode at this point. No, this is the Golden State Warriors, Joe, hanging Andre Iguodala's number 9 jersey. And I ask you this question. For what, Joe?
I
Is this
guess
a joke?
do they Do they just have to celebrate something? Is it like penciled in automatically? Like, and they're running out of guy? I don't. Iguodala, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, one of the best, 6 men, but he was the guy there. He was clutch. Don't get me wrong, but is he retiring the jersey kind of player for them? That's
Never.
What does that say about everyone else? I don't get it. Golden State. Wow.
Golden State wins every championship in every game with Iguodala or without Iguodala. Maybe you can't say that against like Derek Jeter or Michael Jordan, right? Some of the better players in the game. But also understand this. People might point out as well and say, well, Donnie, he was an MVP of the finals the year that they beat Cleveland here. Let me understand what that means. He was the primary defender on LeBron James. LeBron James went for 36, 13, and 9 in that series. He was fanatical on defense here. All he did was foul every time up the floor, and you can't call every foul. LeBron James had one of the greatest finals in the history of the sport, and his primary defender won MVP. So you might say, well, what did he do on offense? He was decent. Why? They left him wide open every time down court because everybody was a much better option than Andre Iguodala. This shouldn't get me so angry on a Wednesday morning. And if I wasn't surfing Twitter this morning and found that, it never would have came across my desk. You have got to be kidding me. Iguodala's number retired? Maybe for a G League team at this point. I can't even believe we're having this conversation.
And I think he played the first 8 years for your Sixers, too, didn't
and
he? Before
stunk.
he even got and he stunk. And then he gets to Golden State, and you team up with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, and all of a sudden now he's getting his number in the rafters there. Just unbelievable, Donnie. But, hey, listen, they take care of their own, apparently, at Golden State. So kudos to Iguodala. Nobody will wear, 9 again? Is that it? Just hanging the jersey up there? Wow.
Hanging the jersey up there. And by the way, Philadelphia 76ers fans will always remember this moment as well. AI has been an absolute legend. Not Andre Iguodala, the wrong AI. The real AI, Allen Iverson. Was a Philadelphia 76er, got traded away, came back eventually to the Philadelphia 76ers, and there was a lot of passion in the building that night. I can't wait to see Allen back in a Sixers uniform and run out of that tunnel, get introduced here. Allen Iverson always got introduced last. But you know what put the kibosh on that? Andre Iguodala. Now, this is my team. Allen's not going to get introduced last. It's always going to be me at this point. You got to be kidding me. Get him out of the fake AI, Andre Iguodala. Let's move on to other pressing needs at this point, Joe. One of those pressing needs, Utah's doing it right, man. Joe, they're doing it right. Shams Charania, a tweet. Utah Jazz guard Vince Williams Jr. has been diagnosed with a season-ending torn ACL. We don't even know if this is true or not. We don't even know if he's ever going to get surgery. They're like, we're not getting fined. Everybody, you have an injury, whether basically you have it or not. Unbelievable.
Another 10. I don't know what it is with Utah with guys needing surgery, but there we go. I mean, that happened early in that game against Houston, too, there. So I don't know what it is, Donnie. I don't know what's going on with Utah, but yet it seems like everyone is getting shelved and needs surgery and rehab and everything else. So they're going to have to – you think the 49ers got problems. Try being the Utah Jazz here.
Yeah. Here's another good story as well, which when you read the initial reports, we always like to say, and we're right, Joe, 9 times out of 10, let's wait for the check to clear to see how this one turns out. TMZ reported here, and again, Patrick Beverley says the ordeal has made his family stronger after his assault case was dismissed. And believe you say, well, what assault case was this year? It was explained by TMZ in this previous tweet, and it says, from them, as we previously reported, Bev's sister told police that she left their Texas home in the middle of the night on November 14th without permission to see her boyfriend in a nearby park. She said when she returned, Pat was called to the home, and things turned physically, with Beverly allegedly grabbing his sister by her neck with both hands and picking her up off the floor. And Patrick Beverly's response once again to that is, yeah, it made our family stronger. What? I can't do it anymore. I can't.
Yeah, but guy was always just a few fries short of a Happy Meal here, Donnie. I just beyond me here. But he kept finding work though, didn't he? NBA teams kept giving him a roster spot here. But I think that is coming to an end here in the near future.
I'll tell you this, last night, the Cavaliers and the Knicks, they squared up in Cleveland last night. New York Knicks came out at halftime like, we're ready to go. And then scored 11 points, and they got hammered by the Cavaliers, 109-94 last night. Double-double for Allen, 19 and 10 points here, cruising to a victory over the Knicks.
Yeah, it wasn't a great spot for the Knicks last night. It was their third game in 4 nights, and you could kind of tell there at the end of the first half that maybe the legs were getting a little bit tired there, Donnie, and you saw it in the third quarter, and then that was all she wrote from there. So Not great, but big win by the Cavs there to bounce back after that horrific loss there to a depleted Oklahoma City team a couple of nights earlier. So kudos to the Cavs and Harden for getting back one.
The aliens going north, Joe. That's the San Antonio Spurs. Victor Wembanyama is going to take on the Toronto Raptors today. They are a 7.5-point favorite, up from a 6-point favorite overnight here. Total is set at 229.5. The Raptors let me down yesterday, losing to OKC. Now on a back-to-back. Maybe going to lose again to the Spurs, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, again, a second of a back-to-back for both of them last night, Toronto and OKC. Only Toronto had everybody available to them. OKC had, all the backups available there. So maybe, and still didn't show up. So maybe the Raptors were looking forward to this game tonight against San Antonio. Maybe they were saving it for San Antonio tonight and lost in the meantime to Oklahoma City last night, Donnie.
Boston Celtics, Denver Nuggets in elevation tonight, 10 o'clock start, 3.5s across the board as a hometown favorite for the Denver Nuggets, and a total of 230.5. Celtics Nuggets tonight, Joe. What can we look forward to here?
Yeah, well, the Celtics didn't have to do a whole lot to beat the depleted Suns last night, a 97-81 game there where guys didn't have to do a whole heck of a lot. So the Celtics will have they'll have some rest here, even though it's the second of a back-to-back, but there is absolutely no way you can play an under in any Denver Nuggets game right now. They can't stop a nosebleed, Donnie. It's over for me, that's for sure.
Roster already thin for OKC, now on a back-to-back to take on the Detroit Pistons. Overnight, Joe, the 5.5s, they've disappeared to 7s and 7.5s now across the board, in a total of 219.5. Thunder Pistons. What are we looking forward to tonight there?
You're going to learn a little something about this Detroit Moxie, right? Because they got thoroughly beat by San Antonio. You can be the best in the East, but unless you beat one of these top teams from the West, not looking good, Detroit. They better show up tonight, Donnie.
Hockey's back in our life. And you know what? After this break, we're going to cover some hockey. And also, how big were those ratings for Canada and USA in the gold medal final? We'll be right back after this short break. You have we don't know, we're going to play an arbitration for our top pitcher in school ball. He gets the $30 million. You go and get Valdez, who's 32 years old, and you pay 3 years, $115. Now you have a legitimate 1-2 punch and still have Flaherty in that lineup as well. If you're looking at a move singularly that I didn't expect to happen here and loved it, Detroit's move to get Framber Valdez, sensational for me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Expectations were big for this team coming into this season. They've struggled to live up to them. When you think about the 4 losses for Purdue, they've really felt ugly. Iowa State smashed this team in their building. They dropped the game to UCLA and followed it up by losing at home to Illinois.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
I have my own account. I don't need to have any. He didn't say any of that. So I'm of the belief that if someone accuses you of something and you don't deny it, there's a reason you didn't deny it. Because you kind of feel like they got me. And yes, I'm not going to tell you I did it, but I did it. Yeah. Don't you think so?
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Yeah, and with the Clippers, Craig, it feels like Kawhi is on the island. We saw him ball out in the All-Star game the other day. Kawhi was very impressive, and he's had a fantastic season. I think when you look at the Clippers, if the Clippers' record was better, but he's still James Harden, you would be talking about Kawhi as an MVP candidate. He's been one of the best players in the league in terms of how he's been playing. He's been fantastic.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Oh, no, we got to wake up at 8 a.m. to watch a sporting event. Well, me and Joe waking up early each and every day, Monday through Friday, making sure you got those sporting events on deck for the night and also what happened the previous night. But how about this? We thought people would rise to the occasion, and they did, and it was a fantastic game. Front Office Sports with a tweet yesterday. The United States 2-1 overtime win over Canada averaged 20.7 million viewers. It's the second most watched hockey game in NBC sports history, and it was played on a Sunday morning, Joe, at 8 a.m. Shout out to the people who like hockey.
Yeah, we told you, right, Don? I mean, bars were opening up out west there at 5 a.m. in the morning to get it going. They were suspending any sort of alcohol rules in New York and other places. So, yeah, it was a kind of must-watch situation there that was going to be you knew it was going to be good for the ratings for NBC. But overall, just like that, I hate to say it, Donnie, is NBC not the go-to sports network right now? I mean, they have come a long way. They used to be, then they went away and tried to get away from sports, and now they've got it back, and they are just crushing it.
They are crushing at this point. The coverage was fantastic. Ratings were sky high. And also, this was a game, once again, played at 8 a.m. Eastern in the United States here, which means that was 8 a.m., not across the board, Joe. 8 a.m. in the New York marketplace. Out on the West Coast here, you wanted to watch it. That was a 5 a.m. start, which, again, Olympics have their tradition. Not going to push back the closing ceremonies because they want to watch a hockey game and make sure the U.S. and Canada have the right time zone here. It's played when it's played, depending on where the games are, which they were in Italy. But I would, like, Joe, what would those ratings have honestly been if that game was played at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon or 2 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon? It probably would have got into that 30 to 40 million range here because, again, much as people are casual hockey fans, some are going to wake up at 5, 6, or 7 a.m. to watch that game. Like, I'll catch the replay a little bit later, just check my phone at this point. Those ratings would have been absolutely fantastic to see if the game was played a little bit later.
Yeah, and listen, it could not have worked out any better. Now they've got to figure out, of course, the time won't necessarily be an issue for the upcoming Summer Olympics, Donnie, even though it'll be out in L.A., but I think they'll have an easier time figuring out how to get everything scheduled then.
Oh, yeah, big primetime ratings in L.A. We look forward to that in 2028 here. But how about this? The Secretary of Defense, the new one, Connor Hellebuck here, holding up a little placard there. Secretary of Defense, gold medal here. He deserved every bit of it, was absolutely outstanding, and probably the primary reason why the U.S. Olympic team went gold.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the fact that he didn't get the MVP was a little suspect to begin with, but not that he didn't deserve it, and he certainly deserves that. Timing is everything, and boy, the right guy at the right spot, the right moment. That's exactly, and he delivered too. A lot of guys would not have delivered. He did though, so kudos to him.
Colgate has an ad here for Jack Hughes, who lost his teeth during a high-sticking event here in that gold medal game. And what I want to say about this, too, Joe, it's great. He's going to capitalize on it. But, my God, like, should he just not, like, Michael Strahan has, the part in his teeth. Like, that's just his thing. Should he not actually get this fixed and just let this run until he retires to get his teeth fixed again? Like, this is an iconic look right now, Joe.
It is an icon, and he'll capitalize on it for sure. But listen, get him replaced. They'll probably get knocked out again at some point in your career, and then you can get him replaced again. And it's just it's the life of a hockey player, Donnie. You know this. They'll just keep rinse and repeat, so to speak.
By the way, if there are any Devils fans out there, you do hear from the Devils fans, even though Jack Hughes was on their hockey team until the Olympic gold medal round. Is that what I'm hearing out here, Joe? Is that correct?
Well, it could be. I mean, it wasn't like he wasn't a wealth of health for a while there. Did miss a few games with injuries, but hey, they're not going to forget it now. I can promise you that, Donnie.
There they go. Those Devils back out of here. But Joe, first time it feels like in a lifetime, the NHL is actually back in our lives tonight, and Philadelphia is going to take on the Washington Capitals here. The joke was, I think it was a Sanheim, who's a Flyers defenseman, who was on Team Canada. And there was one person tweeting, okay, the Flyers are back. It's like, well, Sanheim's going to rejoin the team and meet Tocchet in D.C., and he's going to have to learn to do everything 50% slower now that he's back with the Flyers. Fantastic stuff. The Flyers are a dog tonight. The Flyers basically don't exist in Philadelphia. It's a shame.
So, it's interesting, Donnie, when you look at these games coming up tonight, we got 28 of the 32 teams in action, right? We did get this layoff last year, a bit of a layoff with the Four Nations face-off, right? And that first day back, 10 of the 14 games that were scheduled on that day had a combined 6 or more goals. 8 of those games had a combined 7 or more goals. And yeah, you had a lot of games, Donnie. Almost all of them were decided by 2 goals or more. So when you take this kind of time off for all teams, whether you played in the Four Nations or played in the Olympics or not, it's kind of, there tends to be a little less defense, a few more goals, not as sharp. And yeah, I'd be looking at a lot of overs, even for your Flyers here tonight. I'd be looking at a lot of overs tonight.
6.5 there for Philadelphia and Washington. How about 6.5 here for Buffalo and the New Jersey Devils? Is Hughes going to be in the arena tonight? Will he be playing? How about Tage Thompson on the opposite side? Roughly a pick'em game in New Jersey tonight. A lot of historic U.S. players on the ice here.
Yeah, that's right. And if they're going, they're going here. And I do believe, even in some spots, Buffalo is the road favorite here in a few. And of course, we'll wait to hear what the lineups are. But I'll tell you, home dogs, that first day back after a long layoff, they went 4-1 a year ago. Might we just want to concentrate on some of those home dogs here tonight, like even Utah taking on Colorado?
How about more Olympic stars on the ice tonight? Austin Matthews and Toronto in Tampa Bay. And look at that price point out there, Joe. Minus 220s to minus 230s across the board. Tampa Bay, Toronto tonight. Woohoo!
Yeah, well, listen, he'll get a big round of applause, I'm sure, in Tampa. Yeah. I don't know what it's going to be like when he heads back to Toronto. Probably not going to go over all that well. But listen, Tampa, easily the best team we know out of the East. The question is, can they stay healthy enough in these final, 25, 27 games remaining in this season? If they do, Tampa's going to be a force, that's for sure.
One of the few games tonight, Joe, listed at 5.5 as a total is Vegas taking on Los Angeles tonight. Hill versus Kemper at a minus 146 price now as a favorite towards the Kings, Joe. Staying under the total out there or what?
Yeah, well, Jack Eichel will be back for Vegas here tonight. A lot of guys likely not playing. It's been all Kings money here so far.
Let's talk a little golf coming up next. Now, come on, fall out, people. Let's have some fun. We'll be right back. You have like, oh, well, we don't know, we're going to play an arbitration for our top pitcher in school ball. He gets the $30 million. You go and get Valdez, who's 32 years old, and you pay 3 years, $115. Now you have a legitimate 1-2 punch and still have Flaherty in that lineup as well. If you're looking at a move singularly that I didn't expect to happen here and loved it, Detroit's move to get Framber Valdez, sensational for me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Expectations were big for this team coming into this season. They've struggled to live up to them. When you think about the 4 losses for Purdue, they've really felt ugly. Iowa State smashed this team in their building. They dropped the game to UCLA and followed it up by losing at home to Illinois.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
I have my own account. I don't need to have any. He didn't say any of that. So I'm of the belief that if someone accuses you of something and you don't deny it, there's a reason you didn't deny it. Because you kind of feel like they got me. And yes, I'm not going to tell you I did it, but I did it. Yeah. Don't you think so?
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Yeah, and with the Clippers, Craig, it feels like Kawhi is on an island. We saw him ball out in the All-Star game the other day. Kawhi was very impressive, and he's had a fantastic season. I think when you look at the Clippers, if the Clippers' record was better, but he's still James Harden, you would be talking about Kawhi as an MVP candidate. He's been one of the best players in the league in terms of how he's been playing. He's been fantastic.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
can't have golf talk without talking about Tiger Woods, right? And yes, the Masters on the horizon, early April, I believe that's going to be. That's the official start of spring for me. See the blooming azaleas, and away you go with probably another Scotty Scheffler victory. But before we get there, Nuclear Golf tweets this out, Joe, new from the AP, that Tiger Woods has been given a soft deadline prior to the Masters to decide whether he would like to be captain of the U.S. Ryder Cup team in 2027 at Adair Manor. Sources telling Doug Ferguson 405 that Woods is currently the only candidate. My goodness, man, get it together, U.S. What if the Tiger says no? We done? We going to fold up shop?
It kind of feels like that's it, right? So what? No Tiger, that's it? Just be done with it all together here? Like, it's kind of crazy. He still wields this kind of influence, though, isn't it, Donnie? It is kind of bonkers. But Tiger will be Tiger. And listen, hope he gets there at Augusta. I really do.
Yeah, Tiger, be a player coach, man. Come on now. You might be able to fit in one of those singles matches on that Sunday morning here to try to salvage it for Team USA. And that'll get big ratings here. But also, we are waiting for that next press conference from Tiger Woods. Not to say, Joe, that he's going to be the captain of the Ryder Cup. It's see you in Augusta, ready to go. You know, I'm back. One of those Michael Jordan type tweets out here or faxes that he could send in. Let's see it happen here. How about the Sports Business Journal? Live Golf continues to reshape its leadership team as COO Lawrence Burrian has departed the organization. Burrian, hired in late 2023 under former CEO Greg Norman, exits amid ongoing executive turnover here. They just got a big cash infusion, Joe, we talked about yesterday here, changing of hands, trying to reshape some things.
Yeah, trying to get it going. Did not work out. Well, I mean, I guess to find the level of success. It's not like them making money was ever really, I think, a priority. Yeah. So, you know, hence why they got that cash infusion. But I guess maybe a new, fresh set of eyes to see if they can't navigate and exist with the PGA Tour.
Some are calling the Cognizant Classic, Joe, the best field of golfers they've ever seen. Not according to Billy Horschel. Let's hear from him.
Listen, I mean, it's tough with any tournament on the PGA Tour schedule to, you know, outside signature events due to, you know, some multitude of reasons. I mean, we had this issue before the signature events were around. We've always had this issue. You know, a decade ago, this event was unbelievable with the field. But where it fell in the schedule was really good for a lot of the guys that lived here. There wasn't, it wasn't on the back end of an LA or Riviera. You know, and this field's sort of been up and down the last couple of years. And, you know, we're just, you know, when you've got so many events on the PGA Tour schedule and you know, you got guys trying to figure out where they're going to fit, it's tough to fill a field. I think the world of this golf course, I think it's a great tournament. Obviously, I'm a Floridian native, born and raised here, so I'm always going to support my Florida events. But like I said, it's tough. It's just not Cognizant. There's a whole bunch of other tournaments that are struggling. But even with that, we still have a really good field. You may not have, you know, Patrick or Scotty or some of the other top players in there, but as we've seen, like a Jacob Bridgman, he made a name for himself, I think, here last year, along with Joey Highsmith. So there's going to be someone who wins on Sunday, and hopefully it's me.
By the way, you look at some of the odds here, and the leaderboard today is it Scheffler, is it Rory McIlroy? Like, that's what we're used to up top. Ryan Garrard, 14-1, Shane Lowry, 17-1. You go, like, Brooks Koepka is playing in this tournament at 30-1, and the guy that was just speaking right there, Billy Horschel, hey, it's a tough field. It's not. He's 80-1. How do you 80-1 in this field, Billy Horschel?
Well, listen, I mean, good news, bad news here, right? And Billy Horschel nailed it. Once they changed the schedule, because it was, I mean, a decade ago, it was Tiger, it was Phil, this was like one of the most amazing tournaments. It was just before Doral, when that, you know, the big blue monster before that. But now it's the first tournament coming from the West Coast. Bridgman, who just won the Genesis, he's right. Yeah. Nobody ever heard of him until he played in this tournament last year, and then he parlayed that into now, obviously, winning the Genesis. He pulls out. Ben Griffin, also a guy that was a regular here, he just pulled out. So now we're left with Shane Lowry, who plays at this tournament every year. He's finished inside the top 5 3 of the last 4 years. But Gerard made his PGA Tour debut here at the Cognizant in 2023. He finished 4th. But outside of that, Donnie, I mean, the good news is you're going to be able to, somebody's going to win this at a huge price. The question is, who's it going to be? These are not household names here in this tournament, unfortunately.
Last 5 winners, Joe, of the Cognizant Classic here. Matt Jones, I don't remember the old wide receiver, the quarterback turned wide receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He won in 2020, 2021. Sepp Straka, Chris Kirk, Austin Eckroat, and last year, everybody knows, Joe Highsmith. Impressive field, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And Ekra, when he won, he was 66-1. Kirk won, he was 50-1. Camilo Villegas was 500-1. Matt Kuchar won a couple of times. He had huge numbers. Big odds coming here in this one if you can get the right winner.
By the way, Matt Kuchar, did he actually tip his caddy that week? I don't know. Maybe that's another story for another
that's where
day.
it started. No.
Hour number 2. Come on now.